Hi everyone, welcome back.
Hello.
It's been a long time since we've been live, but we are back. And we are actually in a new studio.
Yay!
But it looks exactly the same to you. It's bigger, there's less tripping happening during rehearsals, there's less knocking heads on lights, no tripping over cords.
Yeah, people in and out without having some of their body parts in our faces. Yeah.
Not that that ever happens.
No.
Just, anyway, we won't talk about that here.
Yeah, welcome. Let's get started with introductions first. My name is Kai Schober. I'm the German Community Manager.
I'm Gina Bruno, Assistant Community Manager for ESO. And it's Friday.
It's Friday.
And we should go over the show overview.
We should go over the schedule right now. So we're going to start with official ESO news.
After that, we are going to get into Ask Us Anything, where we are answering questions from the forum thread titled Ask Us Anything.
Woohoo! Lots of questions. We have Lead Loremaster Lawrence Schick on the show, and he's going to talk about Rothgar and the law involved with our new zone.
And of course, we have a couple giveaways that we'll be doing throughout the show. Pretty cool things today. Did you remember to bring the one? Oh, no. Well, we'll just tell you about it.
Yeah, we have.
Because words are more interesting than, you know, showing.
Maybe we can send one. The new studio is not so far away. Anyway, let's get into the news. So here we are again, time for the ESO news, and we're starting with the announcement that Orsinium is now live on all platforms.
I had no idea.
That means we can go home, right? That's it. We're done for the year.
We did it. Happy New Year.
See you next year. Bye. No, there's a lot more going on. We also launched patch 2.2.6 already on the PC Mac mega servers in North America and Europe. And this one had, most importantly, fixed to the loading screens.
Yay! It finally happened.
Yeah.
What else do we have going on? We have our next PC incremental patch coming up. We're tentatively looking at November 30th, Monday, regular day. Love to tell you the fixes that are in, but frankly, just haven't done the patch notes yet. So that'll be coming after Thanksgiving. And then we also have our next console incremental coming out in the middle of December. Just to kind of give you a time frame, that's actually going to first party certification next week. So
fingers crossed,
requires
and then
week and a half, 2 weeks or so, and then we'll look at kind of pushing that out.
All right.
And we did a really cool Reddit AMA yesterday. You can go check out all the questions and answers if you go to reddit.com/r/Elder Scrolls Online, right? Yes.
Right.
It's actually stickied at the top, so you can go through. If you sort it by best, that's usually kind of, you know, the best way to do it. Everybody from ZOS who had a response has a little flare next to their name saying ZeniMax Online, so that way you can just quickly see all the answers.
And there are a lot of good answers in there.
There's like almost 500 comments in there and a lot of answers. So go check that out. Not right now, but you know, after this. And yeah, take a look at what the guys had to say. It was pretty interesting.
Okay, let's get into some hot topics.
May as well.
We had some stuff going on.
Yeah, the past couple weeks, we had just a few hot fixes, few bugs, some exploits here and there. Just to kind of recap what we did, there was an issue after the last patch where we had fixed a shield in Maelstrom Arena 7.
Well, we tried to fix it.
We didn't actually fix it, we broke it, but that got fixed pretty sure the same day or the next morning or something. So that's all fixed now.
Sorry.
And we are still working on other fixes for Maelstrom. There was a bug where you could get unlimited stamina. Not cool. We immediately fixed that. And there was also one where you could regenerate your health. Also not really cool. That had to do with refreshing path, and that got hot fixed as well. There was a problem when we pushed Orsinium. Sorry, I'm trying to think and talk. When you first logged in, it appeared like some of your items from the guild bank were missing. They actually were, but we put them back. So all you had to do was log in, and everything's fixed now, so nothing to worry about. No panic.
Yep, you might even have more items than you started with.
If you have more, don't worry about it.
Yep.
Just
Congratulations.
that's the way it is. And lastly, there was some just oddball issue where when you were trying to go through Hellroth Citadel, one of our trials, and you destroyed some statue, you're supposed to do that in order to progress. Instead of that happening, some merchant just appeared and tried to sell you bananas or pumpkins or something.
Yeah, some produce.
I don't know.
That
but
was part of our Eat Healthy week.
We got rid of him. Kind of awkward, but
It was.
yeah, there's been a lot of fixes going
Welcome to
out.
the wonders of game development
You
and
know what?
programming. Yeah.
Excuse my French, but shit happens. But we fixed it, so everything's fine.
We did. Another very important thing that we finally got fixed, which was bugging us actually since the release of Imperial City, were extremely long loading screens.
Yes.
We did it with the PC Mac patch this Monday, and thank you for your feedback. So happy to read the patches where you complain that you have no longer spare time while you're playing.
Yeah, we saw people like, I have time to go make a sandwich while this is loading in. And
Yeah, other people complain that now their marriage is at risk again because they can no longer talk to their wife in between loadings. Anyway, good stuff.
I think my favorite post, somebody had said something like, yeah, now I have all this time to talk to my family, and I guess they're not so bad, but it's, come on.
That's fixed for PC Mac. Sadly, the fix didn't make it into the Orsinium launch for console, but it will be in the first incremental in December.
Indeed it will. So another issue that has been plaguing us for quite some time was Xbox One players not receiving their crowns if they were a member of ESO Plus. Well, guess what? That is fixed as of last week. So all of a sudden one day you should have just gotten a whole crap ton of crowns, and that was all the crowns that were owed to you. And also, as an additional apology, we sent everyone well, not everybody, the affected Xbox One players an additional 1,500 crowns. Just, we're sorry, and I'm sorry for hitting my microphone, Casey. So yeah, if anyone kind of notices, hey, where'd all these crowns suddenly come from? It's for the Xbox One ESO Plus. Whoopsie, we'll call.
Yeah. Something that we're still looking into, the changes to leaderboards that were introduced with Orsinium, actually due to the new Maelstrom Arena. If you were interested in getting onto leaderboards, you will have noticed that it got a lot harder to get, especially on the Trials one, since it was reduced to 100 players only. We're looking into the issue, trying to find out what we can do about that. We also saw a lot of comments about the veteran ranks and what we're going to do about them, kind of spawned after yesterday's AMA.
It did. There might have been a few comments about veteran rank removal. A little bit of chaos happened afterwards, so
we have a surprise guest.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a good idea to bring on our creative director, Rich Lambert. He is going to talk to you about what was said, what we meant. Everyone just stop panicking. It'll be fine because Rich is here now.
Because I'm here
Yay.
now.
No
I'm going to make it all better.
Yes.
Make it better. Go ahead.
Fair enough. So yeah, like I made a post last night after our AMA to try and clear up some confusion about the veteran rank removal and what it's going to entail. And I think the big things that people need to know and understand is we're currently working on this stuff. It's not set in stone yet. As we start implementing and testing this feature, things are going to change. I don't think I've ever worked on a project where your initial designs make it through unscathed in the initial implementation.
Mm-hmm. It takes a while.
It does, right? So what I posted were some of the kind of the high-level concepts, the high-level overview of some of the things that we're working on, and We'll see where that goes. We're still obviously committed to removing the veteran ranks. We want to remove them. You know, I've seen a bunch of questions about why do we want to do this? This system's here. I like it. I understand it. And I don't think people understand that when we originally implemented them, they were kind of they were supposed to be a temporary thing as kind of a, you know, in preparation for champion points. And when we started digging into that a little bit more, we started to realize that, holy crap, this touches a ton of stuff. We have to be really careful about what we change and how we change it, because we don't want to completely and utterly destroy the game.
Right.
You know, it
Something
touches,
like this is a big
it's a big
change, too.
progression thing, right? So our goals for this are to, you know, streamline the end game. You know, right now we kind of have parallel progression paths. We have, you know, veteran ranks and we have champion points. And, you know, to the new player coming in and playing, they're like, well, what the heck is a veteran rank and why is a champion point different? I don't understand this stuff.
Right.
So, you know, we want to get rid of one, we want to streamline the process, we want to make it simpler. We also want to make it scalable. One of the issues we're kind of working through right now with veteran ranks is they're not very scalable on the back end, right? It's really hard for us to, you know, make new interesting items, you know, make more powerful items, things like that. It's a crazy amount of work, and we want to clean that up. We want to make it better. We want to improve it. Let's see. I've got a whole bunch of notes here. I'm sorry. This was kind of last minute here. So.
Surprise.
He's surprised.
Indeed. So yeah, I guess the big things, right? Don't forget we put champion point caps in and the catch-up logic in to help kind of facilitate this transition and make it easier for new players coming in to catch up, right? The whole point is right now I think it's around 400 champion points. It gets a little bit slower to go past 400. But those first 300 champion points go by way faster than they ever did before. I mean, we're seeing that in the data as well, to prove that stuff. With Orsinium, when this came online, I think we were somewhere around 93, 97, 100 champion points, you know, as kind of the median on PC, and it's up over 160 now, which is great, right? So, like, that's working. The catch-up is working, and that's what we want to do. In addition, you know, there's some doom and gloom about how, you know, gear is going to suddenly be champion point requirement 500, and oh my God, it's going to take me forever, and I can't do this. Well, you know, we're going to take it slow, and we're going to try to do the best we can with this. You know, just because the cap is at 500 doesn't mean that the best gear is going to be at 500, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So we're gonna do it slow. We're gonna, you know, we're not increasing the level cap for Thieves Guild. You know, when we convert over to the champion point, 100%.
Can you just repeat that one more time?
That we're not going to remove it?
Yes.
I know a lot of people don't believe that, but we're not going to remove the veteran rank.
Not going to increase.
We're not going to increase. Thank you. Not going to increase the veteran rank for Thieves Guild. We are going to remove veteran ranks.
Does that mean that we increase it afterwards?
No.
Oh Lord.
Sorry,
I think I might have had a little bit of Canadian rage on that one day, and I'm not going to apologize for it, but yeah, we're not going to. There's no hidden meaning in that.
And also, just to be clear too, the whole champion point system was sort of in preparation to remove the veteran ranks, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
it was always
that went
the intent.
in, and then
that was
it's kind
always
of taken a while to get rid of the veteran ranks, but
it has been. And what's the other big point here? I wish I could read my handwriting. I should have typed
do you want
this
me to
all
try?
up.
You write
No,
like
it's
a
okay.
doctor.
It's all good. I mean, I guess the biggest thing is again, yes, we are absolutely working towards making this better. We absolutely want to make sure that this isn't a grind. This isn't a massive roadblock for players, right? You know, we're not necessarily going to raise the level cap or the champion point cap every new DLC. You know, we'll kind of pick and choose. We'll look at the data. We'll see who's doing what and who's equipping what and things like that. So, you know, we're going to be careful about this.
I see a
Right.
little bit of confusion in chat, people saying that they thought we were staying capped at 501. I don't think that was ever the intent. That's just the first cap.
The first
And
cap is
then
501.
it'll go up from
We
there.
can raise it whenever we want to. Like I said, the whole point of doing this work and going through all of this stuff is to make sure that it's scalable, right? It's a solution that we can build on in the future
Right.
if we need to, when we want to, versus, oh my God, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make items better in the next DLC? There's only so many knobs and things that we can do to tune and tweak items.
Indeed.
So I'm sure there are questions in chat.
I'm kind of just scrolling through everyone.
I'm sure there are questions in chat about all of this stuff. So I'm totally fine with taking a few.
Well, and it's also hard to answer questions when the system isn't even set in stone yet, too.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, and maybe I should touch on that a little bit, right? Like I definitely said that, no paper design that I've ever worked on, right, has 100% made it through all implementation and testing without any kind of changes needing to be made. And so that's generally why we don't talk about things until we have a really firm grasp of how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Because you go in, you talk about things, and a lot of players will take that as gospel, and it's like, well, you said this, right, and
Right.
now it does this.
But
Like, why did that
3 years
change?
ago, you were
well,
thinking about
Right,
yeah.
and so, yeah, it's not a perfect science, and so we're going through and we're testing, we're iterating, and if something sucks, we're going to change it, right? That's just
Someone
how
in
it
chat
works.
was like, wow, I wasn't expecting this chat to happen today. Well, neither were we until about an hour ago.
Yep.
So kind of going back to when we start raising the champion point cap, somebody was asking what sort of increments that we'll be looking at when we increase it, and I think that really depends on the data that we look at, right?
I think it will. I don't think it'll be something crazy like, hey, we're going to raise the cap 500 this DLC, right? Like, it'll probably be in the 100 to 200 range. And when we do, don't forget that, that the way the system is implemented, if you're way behind the curve, it's going to automatically update that and make it so that you earn those champion points sooner. So right now, that point, that break-even point is around 400 champion points.
Right.
Yep.
If we raise the cap to 600, then that break-even points comes somewhere around 500 champion points. So it's really easy to go through the first 400. So we've tried as best we can to make that as painless as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I really kind of see a lot of in here is gear progression. And well, what happens to all my awesome veteran gear now, or
Sure.
gear that
That's
used
a
to
valid-
be good and whatever.
That's a valid question. So some of that is inflation, right? That just happens, right? A lot of games do that where, you raise the cap, there's new gear, there's new fun things to do. But as I said earlier, we're not always going to raise the cap and not always going to raise the gear, right? We're going to do kind of what makes sense. Our goal is to make the game as fun as possible and also make sure that it is as painless as possible. And sometimes there's going to be pain, right? Where, yep, I just got all my gear and now the cap is raised and I have to get some new gear. And that's
Yeah.
some of that is to be expected. But we're going to try to minimize that as much as possible.
Sure. Well, I think everyone would kill us if we didn't ask at least one thing about maybe PvP,
PvP?
performance.
Fair enough.
Something we're still working on.
Fair enough, yep. So we are absolutely working on this. I'm pretty sure I said this in the AMA yesterday, and I know Matt said this yesterday in the AMA.
I
as
saw
well.
him post it a couple of times, a few responses.
This is a really top priority for us. The performance in Cyrodiil on the server side is definitely not what we need it to be. We need to improve it. We are working on it. We made some fixes, some adjustments for the last update. It improved things a little bit. It's not enough. We have some more coming. And we're just going to keep knocking them out as we get them. Every time we knock one of the problems out, we check it, we review it, and we find another one and we knock that out. And
Yep.
the really sticky part of this, borrow a page from you, the shitty thing about this is a lot of these things are really hard to test with bots. Right? Like it needs to be a live scenario where you have hundreds of thousands of players, thousands of players in there playing, doing the things they do, because they act differently than bots. And so, it's it's one of those unfortunate things where we're going to make a fix. The fix works with bots. Let's put it onto live. Let's see what happens, and continue to knock them out as we go. But yes, this is definitely a big thing. Wheeler is definitely excited that we're making some of these changes. And Wheeler also has a bunch of really cool things that he's working on right now too. So
He does?
it's a tease, and I apologize for that.
Well, we're
We
going to...
can tease even further. We're going to have him on the next show, and he will
We're
probably
going to try to, yeah.
talk about some of this.
He will talk.
He will,
Yes, he
yeah.
will.
By the way, we were talking about having him on the show. We need to just tell you that. We're going to tell you right now.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Well,
You have anything else?
thanks for
We're
the
good?
quick update. No.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
as-
We're still working on this stuff, and as we actually get it in to a fully testable state on dev on our internal servers, we'll start talking about this stuff more.
totally.
I've definitely seen a lot of really good constructive posts on the forums. I really liked there was a post by one of the players that talked about how we should order the attribute picks, you know, instead of doing it via achievements, which we were kind of thinking but not sold on, you know, doing it more on the 5s you get an extra point, and on the 10s you get 3 points kind of thing
Yeah.
instead of 1. I really like that idea, so you know we're gonna work on that and make that happen. So keep posting away. It's good stuff.
There's been a lot of really good posts recently. Eric Robel actually recently joined the forums. He posted
did.
a thread in the combat section of the forums, kind of looking for, you know, what are your top 3 things you'd like to see changed with abilities? And there's been some really good suggestions.
A lot of
in
really
there.
good ones. Yep, a lot of good
And
ones.
he has been reading, so yeah, pop over
we're
there.
actually going through that entire list. He
Yeah?
went and collated it. Him and Kyle went and collated
Nice.
that whole list. And that is my meeting directly after this, is we're going to sit down in a
There you
conference
go.
room and bang through that list. So
We should bring a camera down there and stream it. See.
that would be very entertaining, I think.
Yeah. I think so too.
There may be a few F-bombs and a few other
No,
things, but
never.
yeah, it'll be good.
Right on.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us
Absolutely.
today. Kind of
Anytime.
last minute, but
Yep.
it's good to have you.
Whenever you need me, I'll be here.
Excellent. Well, every show, Rich Lambert.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Coming up next, we are going to do our first giveaway.
Yep.
Um,
Calls for
but
celebration.
we gotta wait a second because I'm not ready for it. So,
So I'm going to tell you
There we
what
go.
we're going to give away.
I'm ready.
It's actually a crowns pack, 1,500 if I'm correct.
15. Oh, we're over here now. 1,500 crowns. We are giving away for a platform of your choice. So it can be either PC,
Right.
Xbox One, or PS4.
And all you have to do is type the word store in chat now.
Store. It's like Crown Store, but without the crown part because we're giving you the
Right.
crown part.
So you just
Get
need
it?
to get into the store. Yeah. Ouch.
Oh.
What
gosh,
can you
let's
buy
see.
with 1,500?
You can
You're
buy
a little bit short of the
half
bear.
of Orsinium.
Half of a zillion. A lot of pets though.
You can buy some pets. You
The
can buy
little
some
bear cub,
potions.
Yeah.
We have some XP scrolls.
Right. They're definitely in there.
Maybe
Well-
some mounts or half of a mount.
No, there's some. I think there are.
Guys, you spell store starting with S, not with E. I don't know who that was, but you're not in the running.
So, do you want to pick a winner?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes, I do. Isn't this fun? That we can see it here now?
Yay, it is. No more waiting on Skype.
Winner is not so accurate number 1.
Yep. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Gosh, how are we going to do this? Maybe, I can send
We're
a message.
going to contact her.
I'm going to contact you right this second,
Yeah.
and then you're going to tell me which platform you want, and we'll get those crowns sent out to you, hopefully by the weekend, but it might wait till Monday, depending.
Yeah. And since you're probably not following Gina on Twitch, well, you should if you're not, it might show up in your other folder.
It might
so
appear in the other tab, so make
Yeah.
sure you click on that when you go to your messages. If you don't see anything, I literally just sent it.
Typing.
There it
now.
goes. Message successfully sent. With
What
that,
are we going to do next?
we are going to move into our Ask Us Anything segment next. So right, y'all, we're back for Ask Us Anything. But I lost my chat channel. There it is.
Yeah. But
Okay.
before we start with the questions, I think we
Look how many pages there are
yeah,
this
but we
time.
often saw criticism. Oh my God, you never address the critical topics.
Yeah,
So let's start with the summary of the known
We should.
facts, right?
we should. Why not?
So what can you tell me about housing?
Housing's coming.
Whoa!
It's happening.
What about the barbershop?
That's coming.
That's coming. That's kind. Veterans, are they coming too?
No.
They're going.
No, they're going away, and
Yeah,
it's not
they're
being
going away.
increased with the next update.
So what
Not.
about scrolling combat text?
That is coming. Very exciting.
Nameplates.
No, yeah, those are coming.
Okay, let's bring them in too. And the next DLC is coming too, right?
It is. It's going to be Thieves Guild coming in Q1 2016, and it's going to come with a new
Yeah.
trial.
Ooh.
So exciting.
Did we miss anything?
Oh, let's
I'm
see.
sure there's more.
There's always more.
PvP arenas.
PvP arenas, who wants that?
Yeah.
Something that's not coming soon,
No.
but we are thinking about.
And
there you go.
With that being said,
Man, look at chat. They're so excited. We've said all this stuff before, you guys.
yeah,
We have. This is just
really,
recapping.
This is known facts.
You should just watch every show and memorize everything we say. That's all.
Right.
Okay.
We do.
Well, let's get started since we have literally, I think, 8 pages
No.
to go through. That's all. First question from Chufu asking, is it ever going to be possible to have the currently worn costumes displayed in the character select screen? I've received such a beautiful costume from Orsinium, and in character
It is
select,
really beautiful. Sorry to interrupt.
but it's okay.
Just
I
had
mean,
to get
it's
that
just
out
that
there.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I've received a beautiful costume from Orsinium, and in character select, it would look even better than it does in-game at night. So at the moment, we don't have plans to show the currently worn costume in character select, but it makes sense. We think it's a good idea, and we'll try to getting that on the schedule. Just a note that it's going to be a little bit lower priority than other tasks since other things are coming. But yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So from Nikki84 comes the question, is the Trinimac crafting style going to be added to the game anytime soon? There are a lot of people who really like this style, and it's really sad that there are only 3 sets in this style that only drop in the game. And the answer is yes. Do you want a longer answer?
Yes.
So while we
Always.
cannot discuss exactly how we're going to introduce this in terms of how to get the chapters or the materials, you will be able to craft the Trinimac and the Malekith style in the near future. And in general, we're always trying to add at least one brand new craftable style in each DLC. And we're going to introduce many styles as craftable in the, if they're not craftable, we're going to introduce them as craftable in the DLC following the DLC that, I think I need a picture now. The DLC following the DLC where they were released. Is everyone confused?
Got it.
Good. Next question.
Next question, moving on. Nikki84 asking, are you going to optimize the loot history? There is no option to display what someone's received, like from containers, that can be accessed or opened via the inventory. You also can't move the display around and position it somewhere else in your UI. Nikki thinks the bars are a little big. It would be nice if they were a little bit smaller. Maybe you could select the size of them. The bars could also display maybe the received XP and AP. We are actively looking into additional ways that you can use loot history, such as to show XP and AP, like you suggested. There's no plans at this time to make the display movable or to redesign its appearance, though. We will let you know as soon as we're ready to introduce additional functionality to this, which is something new that went into the Orsinium DLC patch.
Yeah, it is. Best OP would like to know, well, he has something to say before he would like to know it. You've added a lot of new content and made a lot of improvements with Orsinium. For me, this zone is currently the best and most beautiful area in the game. I think the additions you made in Orsinium would also be nice in the old zones. Some examples are the crafting resources, the scaling of the crafting resources, the battle leveling, the bosses, and so on. The old zone's going to benefit from the improvements sooner or later. So while we have new zones in the preparation for the coming DLCs, and we're trying to make them as beautiful or even more beautiful than the Orsinium one, at the moment we don't have any plans to go back and change the world building or add new assets to the existing launch zones. That's simply because it took literally years, I think at least 2 years per zone, to get them built out, and we would much rather spend our efforts on building the new ones. And we've got nice zones coming.
There are some nice ones coming. I mean, Orsinium was pretty badass.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, man. Turning into Matt Weathers here. Next question. Speaking of beautiful new zone, with Orsinium, we received a beautiful new zone, which is thematically and geographically part of the Daggerfall Covenant. Can we expect you to release additional zones that are part of Ebonheart or Aldmeri in the future? So the short answer is yes. Longer answer, we have some really cool things planned for the future for this. It's a little too early to talk about them yet, but we can tell you that the next 2 zones are going to be located at Tamriel's west coast. The Thieves Guild will take place in a part of Hammerfell that you haven't yet seen in ESO, and Dark Brotherhood will be set in the area around Anvil and Kvatch in western Cyrodiil.
So we're
Very exciting.
to see those cities again after Oblivion.
I was actually just talking before this started. It was like the first quest in Oblivion, or the first main quest, whatever it was in Kvatch. I don't remember what happened, except that all of my little companions and followers just, I don't know, I guess I just sucked it up and they all died. And boy, that is hard to go through without any help for the first time you're playing that game.
Yeah.
Story time over.
Lots of Daedric onslaught. Yeah. So, Arthur Dunedain would like to know, why were some of the items removed from the Crown Store? For example, the Might-Driven Horse. This item was replaced with a bear, which isn't my cup of tea. Is there a specific reason why this was removed? So there's a certain value to things that are rare and temporary. And we always want to build and provide valuable items, but we don't want to top our game every single time and end up somewhere in the clouds by doing so. So if we limit special offers, we can keep it even, but still do something exciting. So we're going to continue to put new things and cool things in the store, and some of them are going to buy on that. So we can't actually wait to see when you start to data mine the yeah, I'm not going to say what you're going to data mine.
Hey, what does Kvatch mean in German? Somebody said it sounds like baloney in German.
Oh, if you pronounce it Quatsch, yeah.
Oh. Well, there you go. You learned some German today.
We should have one German word every show. Last time we had Schmutz, now we have
It's true.
Quatsch.
That is
Great
true.
words.
ESO Live in German. Next, from, well, you see it on the screen. You've added new music with the DLC. Yes, we have. Are you going to make the soundtrack available for download somewhere in any way? The soundtrack will be available for download probably around the middle of December, so keep an eye on iTunes or Spotify or any of those places, and you'll be able to purchase it. We've seen a lot of really good comments about the music on Orsinium. It's awesome. The guys did a really, really good job on it, so glad you're enjoying it.
So are you thinking about adding the guild abbreviation to the rankings of the leaderboards in a way that the group leader could select which guild he would like to represent for the selected activity? This is something that C and I would like to know, and the answer sadly is, although this is a good idea, we have no plans at this time.
Womp womp.
Oh.
Next question from Frozen Animal. Will we be able to craft our own accessories one day? Something we'd really love to do, but it's not in our short or medium term plans.
Yep.
And
That
that's
did
it.
not exclude long term.
Didn't exclude long term, so maybe sometime.
So now, I think we're going to start the Ultima Joe 777 part of the...
He had a lot of
Oh, he had
questions.
so many questions. Thank you for your enthusiasm. We're trying to answer some of them. First one is, how does Cinemax respond in real life every time they read a post on the forums that is bashing us? So,
Like this.
yeah. Well, what we would like to keep in mind, and what I think everyone has to keep in mind dealing with the internet, is that passion means engagement. So it would be far worse if nobody cares about the game.
That's
And
true.
the forums would be wasteland. If everyone would be always polite and always show empathy, that might be great, but it might also be very boring.
I actually
And-
just go home and curl into the fetal position and cry for about an hour, but that's just me.
You know, since are you at your story time, let me start my story time.
Please do.
My grandmother, God bless her, had very nice stitching on her wall that said, and we're learning more German now, it said, I wish, switching to German, ich wünschte, ich wäre ein Elefant, wie tätig jubeln laut. Es ging mir nicht ums Elfenbein, nur um die dicke Haut.
Did you guys get that?
And roughly translated means, I wish I was an elephant, I would cheer loud. It's not about the ivory, it's about the thick skin. I think that should be the official motto of every community manager.
There you go. There you go.
Story time over.
Story time over. It's all right, there'll be more. Next question. Guess what from Ultima Joe 777? Any chance we can get an option to hide the compass entirely, as well as the cursor in the middle of the screen? This would allow us to take pictures in game via screenshot without the interface getting in the way. For PC and Mac, you can actually create a custom keybind in your controls menu that allows you to hide the user interface, but this actually isn't available for console, so you'll have to do it on PC and Mac. No story for that one.
No. Guess who submitted the next question?
I have a good idea.
It's from Ultima Joe 777. Will previously sold Crown store content, such as the Frostmare, ever return to the Crown store again for those that missed it and didn't have the chance to buy it? The answer is, once again, yes, but it might not be exactly the way you think. So first of all, we would like to bring back the Sench Panther and the Sench Leopard to console players. They never really had the chance to buy them, and we would like to give them the chance. But this will include the PC players, just to make it fair for everyone, and it might happen sooner rather than later. In general, though, and we don't want to say never, since you're not supposed never to say never, ever,
Never say never.
Right. We do think that players appreciate the fact that that the mount is not only a little bit different in the appearance, but it's also something that is unique because it can no longer be attained, and that's something we would like to keep.
There you have it. Guess who has the next question? Ultima Joe 777 asking, any chance we can see some achievements for collecting the various stolen treasures we find in Fence or Launder? Apart from the already existing achievements to fence a certain value, there will be some new initiatives for stealing certain types of treasure items with the Thieves Guild DLC, which again is coming out Q1 of next year. Just had to throw that in.
And yep. Another question from Guess Who? Can you please make it so that any ally NPC fighting for you, which includes the Summon Familiars, Clan Fears, and Twilights, so that you cannot communicate with, is not identified and prioritized in your crosshair. It is very annoying when you have these things keeping you from opening doors, talking to other NPCs, or even looting corpses simply because they are always in the way. So we've noted your complaint. We're going to see if we can make it a little bit less obnoxious. But on the other hand, it wouldn't be a real Elder Scrolls game if your companion is not always standing in your way, is it?
Touche.
Yep.
was playing Fallout the other night, and
Yeah.
let me.
It would
I
not
was playing
be
Fallout,
a
yes.
Bethesda game if your companion wouldn't stand in the way.
Boy, dog meat, love him, but he keeps on like running through the little tripwire things when I'm trying to disarm him, and I just start yelling at him like, "Dog meat, no!" And my dog looks up and he's like, "What?" So anyway,
I didn't do it.
moving on. All right, we have a question from, I guess it's X antithesis X. With the addition of the mercenary motif to the undaunted chest, will that decrease the chances of the monster shoulders dropping, or is the loot table going to be adjusted for the dilution of additional items added? I like that on my sheet it says the answer is, quote, it doesn't affect the chance at all,
That's
unquote.
an answer.
There's the answer. They are separate rolls, so you will get either neither one or the other, or even both in a single chest.
Yay, go hunt.
And that's the answer.
From Enodoc comes the question, whatever sort of crazy code hiccup caused a Quest interactable to start selling produce?
does that?
We kind of touched that during the news section. And we are investigating a minion infection, some kind of infiltration by minions, since it had to do with bananas. That's all we can give you.
Never watched that movie, sorry.
You will.
They're all making fun of me because I said antithesis, because I was trying to read it in all caps on this sheet here. I understand that antithesis might not be the correct word. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, next question. Like Reaper's March, which is clearly divided into the forested northern woods in northwest, the grassy savanna Jodewood in the south, and the arid Dawnmead in the northeast, we know that Hrothgar is split into 3 distinct ecological areas: a boreal forest in the west, a tundral plain in the center, and a snowy alpine region in the east. What are the names of these 3 regions of Hrothgar?
That's going to be a disappointing answer. Sorry.
There are no actual names for the subzones, but we just have to assume that the orcs want to claim Hrothgar as a whole.
Yeah, no dividing.
There you have it.
So, Kevlato would like to know, not to give away anything here, we're making it very not spoilerish. At the end of the main quest in Orsinium, when you chat with the Glowy, is that a real hint of things to look forward to coming into the game?
The Chloe.
The Glowy, yeah. No spoiler at all. And he does hope so, because it sounds cool. The answer is yes.
I just saw kind of in passing in chat, somebody was asking about AoE caps. I know Eric Roble is going to be posting a thread potentially next week, kind of discussing things about that with his semi-regular new forum threads that he's doing. So keep an eye on that. It's coming. Next question.
It's coming.
Well, the thread is coming,
Yeah.
so the discussion is coming. Did Brad Derrick compose the score in Hrothgar like he did for most of the other tunes in ESO? It's really nice, and I'm sure a lot of other people would like to be able to get a copy of it somewhere. Didn't we have a question like this already?
Yeah, kind of.
I've seen a lot of credits in other aspects of the game, but sadly the music guys don't get much love from what I've seen. The Hrothgar score is 100% Brad Derrick. He really outdid himself with this one because it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear what he's got coming up next. As for the soundtrack, like we said earlier, look for it soon, next month potentially. The music guys actually did a Reddit AMA, I think a few months ago. The whole team kind of went in there and started answering a bunch of questions, and they are an interesting group of guys. They are fun.
Nicely put.
So, I don't know, maybe in the future we can do another AMA, maybe on Reddit, maybe something on the forums, we'll see.
Sure. Gothap would like to know, are there any future plans to implement the group finder system also into a trial system? Would be an awesome improvement for us trials lovers, since it's getting harder and harder to gather 12 people for the challenge, even when asking to help cross-guild wise. Not to help for help. This is something we would like to do for sure. Our focus, though, is to improve the LFG experience with the 4-person groups content first. Once we got everything in we want for that, the trial support is next on our list.
Woohoo.
Yay.
All right, we know you guys really love fluff questions. Had to throw one in here.
Yeah,
we just
we
had
had
to. Art Valerian asking, cake or pie? The greatest discussion of our time.
It's cake for me.
You know what? I have a thing where I have a really hard time making decisions sometimes.
Sometimes.
Okay, all the time with everything, ever. I think today I'm gonna go with cake, but you know what? Pie sometimes. I don't know. The pressure. I can't take it.
We'll ask you again in 5 minutes.
Yeah, in 5 minutes I'll change my mind to pie. I mean, pumpkin pie's really freaking good.
Don't forget pizza.
And like pizza pie, that's so New York.
No.
Chat, they're all like, no, cake, no pie.
Oh, yeah. The cake is a lie. Yep. Next question
A
comes
cake within a
from-
pie, does that exist?
Oh,
Anyway,
wait, a
please.
cake and a pie?
I
A
don't
pie
know.
and a cake, I can imagine. Oh, let's stop it here.
Moving on.
Next question comes from Hero of None. He would like to know, would it be possible to buy skins for vampire and werewolf forms in the future? Maybe vampires with longer fangs, noses like in Dawnguard, were-boars, were-crocodiles, and others. So I would like to move around like a crocodile. These would still require having vampirism or lycanthropy to see the effect and wouldn't change the ability, so it's just for the looks. This has been already discussed internally, and it's something that we would really like to do. We do believe that it's really cool and it falls within our possibilities, but it is a bit niche, and so the feature is struggling to gain priority on the schedule. It's going to get pushed every time we want to do something else. Since the Crown Store tries to operate under the paradigm that just works, and these would only work in certain situations. You have to be a werewolf or a vampire to use them. It's kind of contradicting itself. We've been planning to allow players to reconfigure their character for quite a while now in a system we named the Barbershop. Hey, we mentioned that before, yeah. It's more than cutting hair, it's changing your style. I would like to make sure that this request is considered in the design of the system, as it's not in the discussion yet, but it really should be. So thanks for raising this.
I actually just saw a really good suggestion in chat from Big Mac Smiley asking if we can get a looking for group phrase added to the console quick chat. That is a damn good idea. And we will pass that along and
Yeah.
see if we can do that. Next official question. The model design on the final tier of Akaviri great swords and swords are not what many players were expecting from the Akaviri swords motif. The Akaviri are renowned in tests for having a daikatana or katana-styled swords, but the final tier models of this motif do not properly represent this. They are modeled to look like mini greatswords and swords currently in ESO when they should look like daikatana or katana blades. To be frank, we are not going to change the style, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll never introduce katanas.
What a tease.
Sorry.
Randolph Benoit would like to know, now that my master crafter is sent to Orsinium for writs and get the surveys there, what are my options for getting Nirncrooks? Our answer is,
Tell us.
though we would like to keep Nirncrooks unique to Cracklorn, we have been looking into various options for making the trade material more available to dedicated crafters, but we can't talk about specifics yet.
Next question from Fubel. Is there a way to buy crowns and gift them to other users? There are guildmates that lack the funds to buy crowns, and I'm thinking of Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, holiday gifts. Right now, retail cards are really the best answer we have for this type of request. We're looking at ways to expand the gifting experience, but unfortunately, we're not quite close enough to additional avenues to do that yet.
From Chuck comes the question, are we going to see an in-game calendar to set guild events, raids, PvP nights, so all guild members can get a notification when it's in time? This is a great idea. It's not on our current list of features for guilds, though. We have other features. Our priority at the moment is to make it easier to find and join a guild first. So at the moment, we can only recommend that you use the motto of the day for such events, to announce them at least.
Last question from our friend Ultimate Joe, asking, why does dyed armor become bound to you? As you unlock dyes by completing achievements, wearing the associated colors is effectively a badge of honor.
Yep.
So
there you have it.
that's just how it is.
And now I've already seen questions in chat. All these answered, but where's Lawrence?
Where is Lawrence?
Let's get Lawrence up here next when we look into the lore of Hrothgar.
I never know what to do
we're
with
back.
these.
Hey, players.
Lead Loremaster Lawrence Schick, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you here again.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
Everyone's been very excited to have you on the show. Everyone keeps asking, where's Lawrence?
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm excited too. Let's get going.
Good. Let's
get
do
going.
it.
Okay, so we're going to talk
Start.
about stuff related to Hrothgar and Orsinium because that's what we just shipped,
'Cause
and
it
we're all
just
still
happened.
excited about it. Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about there's a without any spoilers. There's a culture clash in Hrothgar between the worshippers of two different but related deities, Malakath and Trinimac. Malakath, of course, is the traditional orc father worshipped by most of the orcs of Tamriel. But King Kurag, who is trying to establish Orsinium and get the orcs up and running, he is trying to tolerate an alternative to Malakath, which is the worship of Trinimac. Now, Trinimac is an alternative orc father to Malakath, and there are a bunch of stories related to how the two are, in fact, interrelated with each other.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
And this is where it gets really interesting and you know, good old Elder Scrolls weird. Trinimac, of course, was an early, one of the Aedra, one of the divines, and an early warrior god of the elves, closely associated with Ariel, and a very popular god among the early elves back in the Dawn era and into the Merethic. Now, back in that time, there was a schism happening between the elves. There were certain of the elves were turning away from the Aedra and turning towards some of the Daedra. Most particularly, Boethia was persuading the prophet Veloth that there were different ways to do things, more active ways to do things than what the worship of the Aedra involved. And that there were secrets and powers that he could teach them. And this was regarded as heresy by a lot of people and a lot of the elves. And in particular, Trinimac took exception to this and began bad-mouthing Veloth and the Velothi followers and Boethia. And Boethia didn't like that at all. Boethia is one of the greater Daedric princes and very, very clever and naughty. Very naughty. Boethia tricked Trinimac. There are various stories on this, various ways of looking at it. The Trinimac people say, you know, some of them say he was tricked by Boethia. Some of them say, well, actually, he was tricking Boethia all the time. But the way the Boethia's story goes is that he and or she tricked Trinimac into looking into Boethia's mouth and Boethia swallowed Trinamac, the way gods do that sort of thing.
That's normal.
Yep. And then began speaking in Trinamac's voice and bad-mouthing Trinamac and all Trinamac's followers, and basically causing a ruckus. And then Boethia revealed herself as being Boethia, and then excreted Trinamac, which and Trinamac had been badly changed and deformed by the experience, as you might think. As you might think. So Trinamac and all of Trinamac's followers, who were elves, they were changed as well, and they became the Orsimer, the orcs. So that's one story of the origin of the orcs, is that it involved Trinamac being transformed, and in fact Trinamac transformed became Malakath, who was then a pariah and sort of the avatar of anger, revenge, pride, you know, several of the 7 deadly sins, and thereafter became the leading deity for the orcs of Tamriel. However, not a very inspiring deity, at least not in the way that somebody like Kurog is looking for. Malakath is all about, you know, revenge and blood price and stuff like that, which makes for great stories, but isn't really a very positive role model if you're trying to found a culture and society. So certain of the orcs in Hrothgar, they think of themselves as forward-thinking and progressive orcs. They are reviving the worship of Trinamac, who they say was not necessarily changed into Malakath, but like the other Aedra, was simply had his power absorbed into Nirn as a whole, and therefore can still be worshipped profitably, reasonably, and is a much more positive and evocative of virtues deity than grumpy old Malakath. So, so that's where the whole Malakath and Trinamac dichotomy comes from, and why they're fighting over that. So
Everyone in chat is like, "There's no way this is true." But this is real.
Totally lore, totally lore. Now, like I said, there's a lot of variations on this, right? But the leading one is the whole swallowed, excreted story. So you know, that's why we love Elder Scrolls, because it's got that deep mythical resonance. That stuff really strikes home. Yeah, I believe that story. That's great.
I don't even know what to say to all this.
So that's kind of the great sort of overarching mythological and ideological and religious background to some of the stuff that's going on in Orsinium.
Can we leave the Aedra and Daedra alone for a while and get a little bit more down to earth, maybe?
We can, because I actually love that stuff. A lot of the, actually 95% of my job is the little details of culture and the world and the people in it and the plants and the animals. So a lot of the things for example, when we start to work on a new zone, and we started to work on Orsinium and Hrothgar, literally several years ago. That's how long it takes to do these things. Several years ago, they started talking about, you know, okay, we're going to start working in this zone. It's a new biome. It's different environments. What lives there? And so, you know, they said, okay, in lore, what lives there, Lawrence? And of course, I consulted the lore and didn't say very much. So I made stuff up and then said that that's what the lore said. Because that's what they pay me for, you know.
What an awesome job! I just made it up, and then suddenly there it is. History made.
Now at the time, I mean, this was pre-launch. We didn't have a Crown store or anything like that yet. But you know, looking at other MMOs, it was clear at some point we were going to be selling pets to players because players love pets. Pets are cool. Yay for pets. So one of the things that I always look at when we're coming up with a new zone is, what should we put in this zone as critters that would later make fine pets? What are people going to like? so naturally, I told everybody that in Hrothgar they have these really small mammoths, and because really small mammoths are, I mean, come on, they're really cool. They're
them in your
pocket mammoths.
pocket.
Yeah, and then I thought we'd want some, you know, this is the northern reaches, and what do we know about the Arctic and Antarctic? Cute birds. That's right. So to go along with things like puffins and penguins and things like that, we came up with the chubloon, waddling around, you know, eating fish and being adorable. But not all the critters, originate from that sort of, you know, holistic overview. Sometimes they come from serendipity. So that's why I'm going to tell you about the echelet. That's the little escheter. You know, the escheter are the big weird livestock that live in Hrothgar. And
I have heard those called so many different things, from eclairs, enchiladas.
Well, you know, the orcs are you know, they're not necessarily the most scholarly people, so they can make up all kinds of names, and so that's fair. Players do that too. You know, it works right in the bounds of the lore. So the echeter.
Enchiladas confirmed.
The echeter. This is one of the early concept drawings of the echeter. It was done by a fine concept artist, and we didn't ask for it, but the concept artist added that drawing that you see on the right-hand side of the screen of the Nord warrior running away from the angry mother echeter with a baby echeter in its arms, and everybody who looked at that said, "Oh man, we got to have those baby echeters." And what are we going to call them? And the name echelet came up, and that's what stuck. And so they're weird and adorable, and that's where it came from. It just came by serendipity because an artist had this cool idea. Well, I'm drawing up this echeter. It's mad about something. What's it mad about? Well, it's mad about this bumbling Nord stealing its child. So. That gives you a little glimpse into the creative process here. Some of it's deliberate, some of it just kind of happens. And you know, as I said, all these little details. Those are the things that we really have the most fun with, because that's what makes the world feel alive. Yeah. You know, walking around in the biome of Hrothgar, I think it's really superb in that it's not too crowded, but there's stuff moving around everywhere, and it all looks plausible, and it just feels alive. It feels like a real place.
Yeah. Just yesterday, I went through Hrothgar. I've seen the bear rubbing his back at the tree already, and saw the hawkers rolling around. But what I've never seen before until yesterday was a deer hitting his antlers against the tree to shape them off, and it was like blown away. So
yep, and the echeter, you know, the big the rutting male echeter, they'll bump heads. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's got a nice solid sound to it. When it really sounds very convincing. And so there's also, we had the opportunity for the first time to really go into the background and the lore of the orcs and their settlements and their culture and stuff like that. And that was a whole lot of fun. But we didn't confine ourselves just to that. So I wanted to bring up one of the little gems of the Orsinium area of the Hrothgar zone, which actually isn't orc lore. There's and it's a little bit out of the way, so you could overlook it. But if you go up on the northern coast, there's an orc settlement of the Morkel clan, and just on the south side of that settlement, you'll find an orc who's keeping an eye uphill because nasty things are coming down the hill. And what's been coming down the hill but Draugr? Because what's up there, surprisingly enough, but a Nord barrow. And what the devil is it doing that far west of Skyrim? So that's what the story there about, and what your investigations have to discover and learn the reasons for. And there's some pretty spiffy lore reasons for why that's up there. It's there's no spoilers as usual, but you don't want to miss this. Partly because it has one of the I mean, there's a wealth of really strong characters in this zone, but this is one of many people's favorites. It's a dark elf archaeologist named Narcissus Dren, who, let's just say, his abilities don't match up to his confidence in them, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have, you know, a really high opinion of himself, and he wants you to get to know him better because he knows that you're going to really enjoy hanging out with him, which you may have another opinion after a while, but you know, it's a fun little adventure. So it's called Exile's Barrow, and it's right up there in the north central part of the zone. Don't miss it. It's a fun little place. So that's,
You know everything.
Yeah.
Is there anything you don't know?
if there's something I don't know, I just make it up. I mean,
I love it.
you know, because you speak in a resonant voice, and you
so
you make
convincing.
some appropriate gestures, and it's very plausible and convincing. And you know, the next thing you know, they're paying you to do it. So
So maybe one question I have: did I understand that right? That the burial procedure they had on Sorrow, they actually sacrificed orcs to bring the corpses of the chieftains up to the mountain?
well, you know, once again, that's stuff that happened way in the past,
Yeah.
and that's one story, which is that he's talking about the burial sites of the ancient orc chiefs up on the Mountain of Sorrow, the tallest mountain in Hrothgar, well named, ever blowing with snow, a wonderful cold expanse up there, and it's a glimpse into the orcish funerary traditions, and how they vary over time and from clan to clan. So yeah, that's one of the set pieces, the real set pieces of the zone. You definitely want to. Don't want to miss out on Sorrow. It's up in the corner, you know.
Yeah.
But don't miss it. Go find that place.
And it's quite a climb.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way up. Another question I came across playing through Hrothgar with the Orc Society is that you have this, let's say, loud king who speaks up, wants your help, does all the things.
Right.
which
Well,
I'm
he
not
wouldn't be
going to
respected if he
talk
wasn't a
about.
blowhard.
Yeah, but if you get a little bit behind the scenes, you actually see that his wife and his wives, plural, and his mother are running the show. Is that something that's typical for orcs?
Yes, it is typical for orcs. Now, it does vary from clan to clan, but orcish society is, on the face of it, apparently a patriarchy, because you've got these big bossy orcs at the top of the war chiefs and the kings telling everybody what to do and go here and you know bring me my turkey leg. I'm hungry, and it looks like they're in charge, but really it's the forge wives, the shield wives, the hearth wives, the hunt wives, who are married to this guy, are associated with the bosses. They actually are the ones who run everything. They're in charge of all the administrative details of the clan, or at Kurog's level of the kingdom. Really, he's endorsing their decisions and taking the credit for it, but really, they're in charge. And so it's an apparent patriarchy, but really there are very strong positions for both genders throughout the different orcish societies and strongholds and cultures, it's way different from other places in Tamriel, but it works for the orcs.
It does. And now we have to argue who is smarter. Is it the guy who's letting the ladies do all the work, or the ladies who let him think that he's in charge while they're
I'm not going
running?
there. No.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not go there.
There are a couple questions that have been popping up in chat.
Sure.
You want to take a question break? Eloa was asking what happens to his wives once Chief Orc die, and do they visit a brothel, or do they just stay forever alone?
Visit a brothel. What is it? So the question is, what happens to the wives when
I
the
guess
chief or
once
the king?
chief dies, yeah.
Well, they are, like I said, they're the experienced administrators. They're the ones who are running things. They're often going to have a hand in figuring out who they're going to who's going to be the successor, because it's not necessarily all about who wields the heaviest bludgeon. It's politics, like with every mortal race.
Sure.
So the widows of the dead clan chief or king have, if they're any good at what they've been doing, they have built up their own constituencies, and they're going to find a solid place for themselves in whatever administration comes next, and maybe even heavily involved in determining who that's going to be, who the leader's going to be.
Right on. Lone Pirate was asking if you had anything to do with Investigator Vale.
No, I can't take credit for Investigator Vale. It's a hilarious series of detective stories that you'll run across in Rothgar. No, that was the writers on the Rothgar team, on the Orsinium team. I think that was Bill Slavisek's character. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not omitting the credit for where credit is due. But I believe that's who came up with Inspector Vale.
And he was just on the Reddit AMA yesterday, too.
He was.
Bill was.
And if you don't know who Inspector Vale is, next time you find one of those books, stop, take your time, read it. It's really, really worth it.
Okay, last question for now, and then we can get back to everything. Whoops, that's not for you. And went back to the champion point question.
Yep. I'm not going there. Nope. No champion points.
There were a lot of requests that you do some sort of little website series like Lore Books by Lawrence, or just kind of reading a quest or something to watch on YouTube or on our website, because everyone thinks that would be pretty amazing. So I don't know if that's something maybe we can work out.
Well, I don't know. I call my agent.
You know what we
We'll
should
talk.
do that would be really fun? Have a contest prize, or maybe even a giveaway on ESO Live, where the winner gets you to record their voicemail or something.
Yeah, I could do that. I've experienced. I've recorded my own voicemail, in fact.
That's awesome. Moving on. And now they're all asking, when are champion points going to be increased? Sorry.
Let's get back to topic. So, awesome zone, awesome law. What else?
What's that cool book you've got there, Kai?
Oh, do we really want to go there already?
Sure.
Because actually, I'm not going to hold on to this for too long, since it's our next giveaway. But here you go.
Here we go. Tales of Tamriel, Book 2, The Lore.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
a coincidence.
So this is just published by Titan Books, and one of our friendly third-party affiliates. And what it contains is a whole bunch of lore books that have appeared in the Elder Scrolls Online, and in fact in the Elder Scrolls series prior to ESO, but that are featured and important as far as the lore of our game is concerned. I might have written a few of these, and they're included in here. And Titan Books did a really great job. It's unfortunate this is shrink wrap, but this is a prize, because we're going to give it away, so we're not going to open it up. But it's a really beautiful book inside. It's got lots of illustrations and stuff. Yeah, I highly recommend this and the previous one, Tales of Tamriel, Book 1, The Land. So yeah, look for these wherever books are sold, like online.
Thanks. And
Are we giving it away now or
stay
later?
tuned. We can give it away now. Sure, why not?
Hold on, let me get ready.
Which,
Okay, I'm ready.
shall
Go.
we stick with the obvious password?
That's what I
It's-
typed in, so yes, we
Good.
should.
If you want to win this one, type law into the channel now. Not like Lawrence, but like law, what we're
Lore.
talking about.
Like it says on the book, if you can read
Yeah, law.
it. L-O-R-E.
Go ahead.
They haven't gotten there yet. There they go.
Uh,
You know what we could do if the winner really wants it signed? We could take the shrink wrap off
Sure.
and then have Lawrence sign it. Or if you would like it shrink wrapped, we can do that too. Either way.
No
Maybe
offense
Lawrence can
taken.
just sign like a post-it or something and just.
Sign the shrink wrap.
Sign the shrink wrap. Get out.
Going to do that.
Yeah, whatever they'd like. Another cool thing to keep your eye out for in the zone. The artists went to. I mean, there was already a depiction of Malakath, a fairly standard statue, with him, getting ready to do the vengeance thing with his giant sword, in a sort of Chippendales pose without any shirt on.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but that's definitely what I thought.
And but they've also they did a really good job of interpreting an alternative statue for Trinimac, sort of an orcish version of Trinimac, and it really conveys what the Trinimac cult is trying to get across, in a sort of physical statuary form. So keep an eye out for that. Compare and contrast, collect them all, see all the statues.
Lawrence, do you want to read the winner? Read their name?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Sure.
This is a hard one too.
I can
so
do
you
that.
can definitely do it.
Yeah. No. You know what? Wait a second. I can peer myopically at it, but I can't actually read it with that small.
Do you want me to bring it closer or farther?
In 3D? Is this it here?
Yes. The big word.
It's Chorosaurus. So
There you go.
Chorosaurus,
Congratulations.
which, of course,
Congratulations.
which is Latin
Yeah.
for the sausage lizard. Yes. So well done, Chorosaurus. You've won a fine book, and we'll be happy to inscribe it, or whatever.
As long as it's not like sign every page, which somebody did recommend in chat.
Wow.
I'm sending you a message right now, so be on the lookout. Check your other tab just in case it got dropped in there for some reason. But yeah, carry on, and I'll do this.
So I want to say this is the first time I've been in the new studio, and it's pretty fabulous, but it has not yet really been appropriately. Is not yet previously appropriately been sort of broken in the Elder Scrolls lore fashion.
Oh God, I know where this is going.
Take the dagger away.
No.
Should I leave? Should we just back up?
What we're looking for, we're not looking for any blood sacrifices, not till in the evening.
Because that's never happened before on the show.
Right. No, but these premises do need to have a divine blessing. The divine who rules over art, culture, and entertainment is, of course, the goddess Dibella. So we're going to invoke the goddess Dibella and get her to bless this studio, so that we will have only divinely blessed twitching coming from it. So the way we're going to do this.
I'm scared.
I'm afraid
No,
it's not a silent
well, usually,
evocation.
of course, the worship of Dibella, usually involves a fair amount of semi-nude dancing. So.
Okay.
No?
No.
All right. Well, we'll just have to do the chanting then.
Good.
We'll just have to satisfy ourselves with the chanting. So here's what we're going to do. And I'm sure you're going to want to help this, because otherwise you're going to be smitten by the divine Dibella in some fashion. Okay. So I'm going to need a really enthusiastic and sincere assistance here with these chants. I'm going to lead the chant.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to speak a line in the chant, and then you're going to repeat it in a falsetto voice.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
Got that guy?
I will do my best.
All right. So we'll start the chant now. Oh, lovely and wise Dibella. Oh, lovely and wise Dibella. We think you're really swella. We think you're really swella. We want you to know how you impress us. We want you to know how you impress us. So if you would please bless us. So if you would, please bless us. Yeah, bring the congregation in on this. Bring it up. There that's good. All right, here we go.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
There, we are now anointed with the sacred petals.
Yay.
And now we have a blessed studio.
Yay. So, nothing can go wrong.
What could possibly go wrong from here? Well,
Can we do any future chants, please, in a deeper voice?
no, I don't agree with that.
It has to be lore appropriate.
So the
Okay.
next goddess we invocate, hopefully she likes deep voices.
Oh,
right.
Casey, you missed it. Our studio's blessed now.
Man.
You missed it. Well, we almost had a nude dance party, but then we just had
Yeah,
a
yeah,
ritual
we thought-
instead.
Missed
So
it.
No, we didn't want to take the microphones off to annoy you.
that's exactly what
That's
it was.
the reason.
Thanks.
Yeah,
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for me.
right.
I can't follow that up with anything.
I think,
So,
frankly, that's going to wrap up the whole show. I mean, I don't think we can top that at this point.
It does. Let's get to an end.
We should. Well, as always, interesting show. Thank you for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks on December 4th. December already.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but we will be back. It's great seeing everybody. As always, let us know what you thought
you
of the
were
show.
thinking. Yeah.
Crazy ass show.
Maybe don't let us know. Send us your submissions. We're always looking for fan creations, fan art. We didn't share anything on this show, but that doesn't mean that we're still looking. No longer
Share it
looking.
on social
Right,
sometimes.
yeah.
thanks for the questions. Those are great questions. Keep them coming in.
Indeed.
We will
That's it.
address your lore questions as much as we possibly can.
And in case you missed any segments of the show, this will be up on YouTube early next week. But you can also look at recent shows in Twitch. If you just click on our name, there's a link in there. So
Right.
you can view all previous shows,
Yeah.
including this one.
And go through all this chanting again.
Okay. Well,
Good.
You guys
That's it.
have a
Right.
fantastic weekend.
Thank you. Have a
Great
good
seeing
evening.
everybody. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Fez?